Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna talk about the Babylonian civilization. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the notification bell to get our newest videos. Babylon represents the ancient city of Mesopotamia, one of the most important cities of the ancient Middle East, and this city gained its peak of prosperity in the 3rd millennium BC when Hammurabi took it as the capital of the Kingdom of Babylon at the time, as he defeated his opponents in the region, and established a society based on the rule of law, the skill of astronomers, and mathematics, and all Mesopotamia became under his control by the end of his rule for the first time since the Sargon Empire 500 years ago. Babylon. An ancient historical city dating back to the Mesopotamian civilization, it is the capital of the Babylonian Empire, where its ruins are found in the modern state of Iraq between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Located 94 kilometers southwest of Baghdad, Babylon is one of the most influential and famous cities in history, known as a leading city. It is mentioned in many places in the Bible. It gained wide fame from its magnificent ornate walls and buildings, its status as a base for learning and culture, and the city was known for forming the rules of law that preceded the law of Moses. Perhaps the most famous thing for Babylon is its hanging gardens, where it was once one of the 7 wonders of the world. Babylon naming. The name of the city of Babylon, Babylon, is due to the Akkadian language. It is derived from Baviel, or Bavilim, and means the gate of the god or gods, and this name came from the Latin language. Babel is its Hebrew name, and the name is mentioned in the Bible in the sense of confusion, as the word was used to refer to the state of confusion caused by the atheism of the people of the city. City building. The history of the construction of the city of Babylon dates back to before the rule of King Sargon of Akkadian, who ruled between the years 2334 to 2279 BC, and claimed that he built temples in the city, and Babylon at that time was just a small city, no more than a port on the Euphrates River. As a result of the high water level of the river, all the ancient monuments of the city were flooded, and the monuments that appear today in the city of Babylon date back to 1,000 years after the construction of the city. Thus, the known history of the city dates back to King Hammurabi, who ruled Babylon between 1792 to 1750 BC after inheriting the throne from his father, King Sin-Mobilit. Reign of King Hammurabi. King Hammurabi was able to make the city of Babylon one of the most powerful and influential cities in Mesopotamia, so he developed the Code of Hammurabi, which preserved security and peace in the city, expanded its walls, and supervised huge works that included temples and canals. He was a first-class diplomat, and he was even able to unite the Mesopotamian civilization under the rule of the city of Babylon, where it occupied a great position at this time, and Hammurabi called it the country of Babylon. After the death of King Hammurabi, the empire of Babylon disintegrated, and the city of Babylon weakened, and the Hittites occupied it in 1595 BC, then the Kassites occupied it and called it Karanduniash, then the Assyrians controlled the region and ruled by King Sennacherib between 705 to 681 BC. Sennacherib took extreme measures in the city, storming it forcefully and destroying antiquities, which prompted his sons to assassinate him shortly after his rule, after which his son Esarhaddon came to power, built the city again, and restored its glory. Then there was a revolt in the city against Ashurbanipal, king of Nineveh, who besieged and defeated the city, but did not harm it to a great extent, as his goal was to rid Babylon of the evil spirits that he believed had caused a lot of trouble. Reign of King Nebuchadnezzar. After the fall of the Assyrian state, a Chaldean king named Nabulesar came to power, and he was able with his wisdom to build the new Babylonian Empire, followed by his son King Nebuchadnezzar II, who ruled between 604 to 561 BC, and he restored the city and expanded it to reach an area of 900 hectares, and built the most beautiful statues and structures in the Mesopotamian civilization. The city was mentioned in the writings of the ancients in a tone of reverence and awe, the most prominent of which was Herodotus, as King Nebuchadnezzar built the famous Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and the Ishtar Gate, and in the same period the city witnessed the Babylonian captivity of the Jews, and the Babylonian Talmud was written in it. The city expanded significantly until the Euphrates divided it into two parts, ancient and modern, and in the middle was the temple of the god Marduk, and the large towering ziggurat, and the streets expanded to accommodate the passage of the procession of the statue of the god Marduk on his annual journey from his temple in the city to the temple of the year new outside the Ishtar Gate. Persian rule. After the death of King Nebuchadnezzar, the new Babylonian kingdom continued to play an important role during the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar, his heir Belshazzar, and in 539 BC the Babylonian Empire fell to the Persians led by Cyrus the Great at the Battle of Opis. The walls of the city were very impregnable, so the Persians diverted the water of the Euphrates River and could control it, and while the inhabitants of the city were busy with one of the great religious ceremonies, the Persians crept across the river under the city walls unnoticed and seized it. Under Persian rule, the city emerged as a center of arts and science. King Cyrus made it the administrative capital of his empire, and the city was famous for being a beacon of advanced science. It is even believed that the first Western philosopher, Thales of Maltese, studied in the city, and that Pythagoras developed his famous mathematical theory based on the Babylonian model. The fall of the city. After 200 years of Persian rule, the city of Babylon came under the rule of Alexander the Great of Macedon in 331 BC, who gave great appreciation to the city, and ordered his men not to damage buildings, and not to harass the inhabitants. After Alexander the Great, the kings of Alexander's sects fought over his kingdom and the city of Babylon in particular, so that the inhabitants of the city fled for fear of their lives. And when the Parthian Empire ruled the region in 141 BC, the city was abandoned and forgotten, and it was buried under the soil. Babylonian monuments. Ishtar Gate. It is a huge entrance of burnt bricks, and the gate is located on the main road of the ancient city of Babylon, which is currently located in Iraq, and the gate was built in 575 BC, with a height of more than 12 meters, and it is decorated with glazed brick carvings in layers of dragons and small bulls. Hanging Gardens of Babylon. They were the legendary gardens that adorned the capital of the neo-Babylonian Empire, and the gardens were classified as one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, and some historians claim that they were located in Nineveh, the capital of the Assyrian Empire, and others believe that they are a figment of the ancient imagination. Lion of Babylon. The Lion of Babylon was formed from ancient glazed tiles at the gates of ancient Babylon, and the lion is a symbol of Babylon and a representation of Ishtar, the goddess of fertility, love and war, and it is not only a symbol of Babylon but also took the symbol to scare enemies, and this statue is the only surviving symbol of the civilization of Babylon in Iraq. Babylon nowadays. The Iraqi government under Saddam Hussein excavated Babylonian antiquities and tried to rebuild certain landmarks of the ancient city, including one of Nebuchadnezzar's palaces. After the invasion of Iraq in 2003, the United States forces built a military base on the ruins, which, according to the United Nations Cultural Heritage Agency, caused severe damage to the archaeological site, and the site was reopened to tourists in 2009. Thanks for watching and stay connected for more.